Hey everybody, Chad Sarno here from Good Catch Foods. Today we're going to be celebrating brunch with a crab cake Benedict using the breaded plant-based crab cakes from Good Catch. Pair it with some smashed potatoes, a buttery English muffin, some sautéed spinach, a vegan Hollandaise, and we're going to make a tofu egg to go with it as well. Stay tuned for this one, guys. If you guys enjoy this recipe, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. All right, you guys, there is going to be a number of different components that make up this dish. So I'm gonna be going back and forth to a couple pans. All right, we're gonna start off with some smashed potatoes. So I have some baby potatoes that have been already pre-cooked. And what's nice about them is I will cook off some potatoes. That way I have them in the morning so I can cook them real fast. Cook these smashed potatoes, breakfast potatoes, make any kind of vegetable hash in the morning, and it's that much faster because these are already prepped. So you want to cook them until they're basically fork tender, okay? All right, so I'm gonna heat up a pan. It's medium to high heat. I'm gonna add some olive oil. This is going to be a side dish to our crab cake Benedict, all right? So let's get that nice and hot. Let's add these potatoes to the pan. We're just gonna let that sit for a little while, all right? On this pan, we're gonna be working with the crab cakes. So I'm gonna turn it on a low to medium over here. All right, same thing, adding some oil. These are such a good product, you guys. Made with our 6 legume blend, and there is like a panko breading on there, and they're little 2-ounce cakes, and they are so absolutely delicious. This is a great way to feature them, especially for a brunch, okay? So we have 2 breaded crab cakes we're going in. We're gonna basically serve 2 per Benedict. These are gonna be mountain little Benedicts. All right, so as those are cooking, I'm gonna prep a couple more components, all right? So we have some tofu that has been just pressed. This is a firm tofu. So I'm gonna go down and I'm going to slice probably about halfway through there. So we have these ring molds. I'm going to make this tofu egg, same size as the English muffin. I'm gonna take my English muffin to make sure I get the right size here. That's about right. Yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna make 2 of these. Use that extra tofu for something else. So this tofu I've pressed up to really release a lot of the water. I like firm tofu because it has that consistency of like a cooked egg, like a puck if you're cooking an egg in something like this. So it has a really nice consistency, but I like to press out as much water as I can. I'm gonna put this tofu aside. We'll use this for another recipe in the future. So with this tofu, I'm gonna season it up. So I have a little bit of salt on there. I'm not gonna add a lot of seasoning. I like this super simple, but the finishing touch on here, I'm gonna use some black salt. I'm also gonna be using this in the Hollandaise. What black salt is, it's a sulfur salt. It's a stinky salt, right? It actually smells just like a fried egg. So we're gonna use this on tofu. We're gonna use it in also the Hollandaise. It's gonna give it really that nice light egg taste there. So let's check these crab cakes real quick. I wanna make sure that they're cooking well. These potatoes are cooking nice. We're just gonna move around the pan. They're getting a little crisp on the bottom. And then what I'll do with these, I'm gonna take the back of a spoon and I'm just gonna smash them, okay? I'm gonna press them a little bit. Okay, so they crack. I like having them a little bit cracked there because you get a little bit more of the crispy bits on the sides. I'll hit this with a little bit of butter when it's almost done, a little bit of salt and pepper, and these are good to go. So continue cooking those up. Let's hit it with a little bit of salt. Add some black pepper to those. I'm gonna get these nice and fried up. All right, so let's go over here, check out these crab cakes. These might need a flipping. It's looking good so far. Get a little bit of color on there. All right, so we're gonna add this tofu on the other side. I just really want a nice sear on this tofu. All right, so typically if they were in separate pans, I would put the tofu on a higher heat, but it's totally fine. I will raise the heat when I take the crab cakes out. All right, so these potatoes are almost done. You can see they're getting nice and crispy around the edges. I'm gonna remove these from the pan so we can use this pan for the spinach. All right, these are nice and crispy, nice and seasoned. All right, so that is a little side dish for this Benedict, okay? Gonna finish it with some spinach, all right? So this is just gonna go on the bottom of that Benedict. I'm gonna shut that heat off of that spinach because this will just sit there and slowly wilt, right? If you want it to wilt a little faster, hit it with a touch of water, that's fine too. A little bit of salt, season it, of course, but it's gonna pick up a lot of that seasoning on the bottom of the pan. So I'm just gonna let that sit until this is ready to plate, okay? All right, let's check on that tofu. Put a nice sear on there. All right, I am going to use a little bit of that black salt, all right? A little bit of black salt on that tofu itself. Black salt you can get in most specialty markets. Natural food stores will have it. All right, so those are looking nice. These have such an amazing crunch to them with that panko. All right, so let's remove this spinach and let's start on that Hollandaise. So vegan Hollandaise, typically it is egg-based, right? We're gonna do it a little vegan style here. So I'm gonna start off with some butter, some vegan butter. Nice and rich. I'm gonna add a little bit of soy milk to it as well. All right, I'm gonna let that come to a little simmer, melt all that butter. Also going to add all the components, all right? So we have a little bit of mustard powder. We have a little bit of turmeric for color. Okay, a little bit of salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of nutritional yeast, all right? So I'm going to just whisk this up. It's a nice color, that's the color I'm looking for. And now a key flavor component of Hollandaise is lemon, all right? So I'm going to use some lemon zest in there. Okay, also going to use a little bit of lemon juice. I use a little bit of lemon juice in there. Whisking that up. All right, this is almost done. It's starting to thicken up. If you need it to be a little bit thicker, add a touch of cornstarch. Touch of cornstarch, touch of that black salt, you guys. Okay, whisk that up. That is nice. That's the consistency you want. Nice, silky Hollandaise there. All right. Let's swap this out. Let's butter up those English muffins. We can plate this. So we have that English muffin. I'm just gonna slice that. Only doing half an English muffin for each Benedict. I'm gonna use a little bit of butter on those, just so they soften up in the pan. All right, those are ready to go. Getting nice and toasted. That looks fantastic. Let's cut up a little bit of chives, just for a final garnish. Adds a little flavor, of course, but it's also just gorgeous on a plate. All right, let's grab that plate. We have that toasted buttered bun. This is gonna be so good, so good. Let's use the spinach on the bottom. Get that sauteed spinach. Tofu egg on top as well. Yeah, nice. Nice color on there. I'm gonna take one crab cake each, all right? The last thing we'll do is the Hollandaise. All right, so we have some of those smashed potatoes. Let's add those on the side. Just such an amazing little side dish here. Crispy, great little addition to this absolute feast of a brunch. That Hollandaise, it might break as it sits, so you just want to whisk it up real quick before you serve it. Here we go. Finishing touch. Oh, that looks delicious. And this is super buttery, lemony. Oh, it's so good, so good. Let's hit it with some chives. Finish that dish. That is a brunch for champs right there, you guys. There you have, good catch. Breaded crab cake Benedict, some smashed potatoes. You guys, this is where it's at with brunch. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm gonna dig in.